Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wesleyan Unity Center in Wesleyan, Oregon, October 2020. My name is Jan Carruthers, and I am your service assistant today. We bless and welcome each and every one of you. And in Unity, we believe that everyone is here by divine appointment. And so welcome for whether you are here in person today or whether you discover us on YouTube. I want you to know that the Unity Center is a ministry where people of all ages, backgrounds, and beliefs celebrate the one common spiritual thread that lives in every heart. If you're new to Unity or new to Unity of Wesleyan, we invite you to our website, www.worldhealing.org, worldhealing.org. And that is so appropriate for our message today on our fundamental beliefs. Our interim minister, senior minister, Reverend Julie Applegate, will open our service now with prayer.
Good morning. So welcome to this World Healing Center, and let us just join together, knowing that this universe is a magnificent place of power and presence and love and wholeness, and that this universe expresses itself as each one of us. And so I know for each one of us this morning that we embody the qualities of wholeness and perfection and beauty and harmony and all those divine qualities we speak of. We don't have to get them. We don't have to work for them. They are already who we are. So this morning, I know that we just drop away anything unlike that, any beliefs that we hold that are contrary to these magnificent qualities that are the nature of who we are, that we let anything unlike them go so that we can fully express our divine nature, knowing that as we do, our life is healed of what needs to be healed, is overflowing with love and harmony and miracles. So I am just grateful for this knowledge. I am grateful for this teaching that allows me to know who and what I am, who and what we all are, and gives us a path to that wholeness. So I just say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I bless each one of us this morning. Amen.
Our reading for today is something that I found from one of my favorite books from the very first time I found New Thought in the mid-70s. And it's by, the name of the book is The Time for Miracles is Now by Jack Ensign Addington. And Reverend Addington is one of the founders of the INTA here in the United States. And he says in this, did you think that all miracles took place at the time of Jesus? Have you ever found anyone who's experienced a dramatic physical healing? If you were to ask me that question, so many would come to my mind that I could not possibly tell you all of them. You know, it's very interesting. When we start thinking about miracles, accepting miracles, expecting miracles, intending miracles, we find that we experience miracles. A miracle is a law-abiding event that may be just a little over our heads, but is thoroughly understood in divine mind. I love that. This morning, Reverend Julie gives us the second part of her wonderful series on creating miracles in our lives. And to take you into that, we have a piece of music that is kind of a prayer on its own by one of our favorite musicians, Mark Stanton Welch. So please sit back and enjoy.
Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Accepting me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Accepting me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Accepting me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. 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 Accepting me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Oh, thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Oh, thank you for loving me. Accepting me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. Oh, thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Accepting me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Accepting me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. 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 Oh, thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving tell you that I really, really like you. Thank you for loving me. Telling me you love me. Thank you for loving me. Feel the love you give to me. Thank you for loving me. I want to believe. Thank you for
Wow, that was a Beautiful song. Ah, thank you. And Jan is the one that selects this music, and it is always so lovely and perfect. So welcome and good morning. Welcome to our Sunday morning celebration, our gathering. Wherever you are, that you're tuning in and sharing this time with the Unity of Wesleyan World Healing Center. We are so glad. And for a lot of people, I know you're just tucked in bed still. You know, it's weird. I was thinking about it. We used to like wear our Sunday best, just church on Sunday, you know. And I remember when we had to wear hats. I had to wear a hat. And now it's like, well, we come to church in our pajamas. So it's a new world, guys. So we are in the second week of using this book, Shortcut to a Miracle by Michael Rand and Elizabeth Arndt, as a guide. And I've decided that as I keep reading it, I think I might just use it the rest of the year because it is so rich. And last week, in part one, we had some kerfuffles in our recording on Zoom, and they were so bad that we could do nothing but laugh. I mean, it was one of those either you laugh or cry moments. But laughing about it really left me in a light mood, and I didn't feel so bad about it. So Jan and I had to redo the message, which you can soon find on YouTube. And when I opened up the Zoom invitation, Jan sent and saw her big smile, which was, it was just infectious. And it sort of made my day. And we were left last week with a practice of smiling. That's not too hard, I don't think, most of the time. And it's kind of smiling is miraculous. Like most of you, I've noticed the power of a smile. When someone smiles at me, I feel like smiling, and I actually feel better because of that interaction. And so someone said to me, oh my gosh, miracles are just like, I know the book says miracles are for everyone. I know miracles are for me, but they just seem so big, even when you talk about them being natural. So today, given that conversation, I'm just going to focus on simple ways to have a miraculous experience in our life. And that is through our focus on smiling. And to go back to our definition of miracles, because sometimes we still get stuck in this idea that a miracle is something that God has done outside of any natural way, outside of the norm. And to have one, we really just have to appeal to the good nature of this God. But that's not at all what miracles are. Miracles are natural. The author says that anytime your life or my life or the life of someone we know changes dramatically for the better through unexpected channels or circumstances, it's an example of a miracle. And so a miracle is a natural happening responding to universal laws. And it feels so unusual sometimes to us that we do think it's unusual, but I think miracles are like for every moment, natural happenings that better our life in some unexpected way. And we're going to talk about later in this series of things that might seem pretty big and amazing. But today, I just want to focus on a smile because a smile is something simple and it can really manifest a miracle. And after, we talked about doing that as a practice, or I talked about doing that as a practice. I did some more research on smiling. And so I want to dive into that. So what about a smile? So when you smile, your brain releases tiny molecules called neuropeptides to help fight off stress. And these are from studies that that are done. Scientists do studies, on all sorts of things. They take our blood measurements, our brain measurements, our heart rhythm, and all of that to come up with what is really happening in our body. So they release neuropeptides to help fight off stress. And let me digress about stress. I've done a bit of research on stress, particularly when I had acute stress, not momentary stress that passes and sometimes is not a bad thing. But when we have acute stress, these stress hormones are the ones that trigger our fight or flight response. Your heart races, the breath quickens, our muscles are ready for actions. And they're designed to protect us in emergency. But what happens is when we have this constant stress, it puts our health at a serious risk, telling our adrenal glands to release stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol, and all of those are helpful in inflammation and obesity and many other things. When my son went through cancer therapy for colon cancer, and we just, we go up, we deal with all of the chemotherapy and the radiation, and we just made it through that kind of by doing it. And people there at OHSU were so fabulous. They were so fabulous with such joy and love and smiling that we just processed through that. And I take what I have to do in that moment. And I didn't realize really how stressful it was for me until after all of the treatment was done. And there were still a lot of serious issues, but all it was done, and there was a potential healing in that. I suddenly just fell apart. I mean, my body started falling apart. I got arthritis, but when an interesting thing happened, I started having little panic attacks, and I'd never had panic attack before. And they made me claustrophobic on the airplane. And I've flown all my life practically, and it's always been a nice experience, but all of a sudden I am claustrophobic on the airplane. All of this coming up from the stress that is accumulated in my body. So a funny thing that happened on this was I was going back to visit my daughter and son-in-law in Connecticut, but I was just super worried now. I was almost having a panic attack about a panic attack. So my son gave me a Valium, and I've never taken Valium. I've never taken anything like that. And he said, okay, when you go to get on the plane, take this Valium, you'll relax and it'll be okay. Because claustrophobia on a plane that you can't get off of it, I was already just thinking about that. So I'm going to get on the plane, and it's one of those where you don't have seat assignments, but you get in a row. And so they called row A, B, C, and we line up. Okay, great. So I think, okay, we're lining up to get on. It must be time to take this Valium. So I popped it in my mouth, and I had no idea what it did for you. But about then they said, okay, we've got a problem with the engine. We're going to have to wait. So we can't board right now. So I'm sitting there on the arm of one of the chairs with my suitcase handle up, and I get really dozy. So I lean on my suitcase handle and I fall asleep while we wait for the plane. So this took effect way too early. And I think I'm snoring, and all these people are confused. And then they call for boarding. And of course I'm sound asleep on the arm of the chair. So that's my little story about my one of my stress things after this go around with his chemotherapy and all the things that went into that. But back to the things about stress. It's just really super hard on our body. So anything that can come along and help us And smiling is one of those things. And it seems like simple. Like, why is she taking a whole Sunday morning to talk about smiling? And I'm taking a whole Sunday morning to talk about smiling because I think that simple little thing is something we can do. And I want to impress on us what it does for us. One study even suggests that smiling can help us recover faster from this stress and reduce our heart rate. And even if we fake a smile for a while, there's been evidence that it can boost our mood and our happiness level. Well, I think that goes without saying. And did you know there's a face research laboratory? Oh my gosh, you guys, there's research for everything. A face research laboratory. It's at the research laboratory of the University of Aberdeen in Scotland. I didn't know about that. But they did a whole thing on smiling at this university face thingamajig. Anyway, they rated, it found out that subjects would rate smiling and attractiveness, and for both men and women, they were more attracted to image of people who made eye contact and smiled than those who didn't. And I think that shows up in all of our relationships because it creates a ripple effect. Quantum science tells us we live in a connected universe filled with energy fields. That means, you guys, that it's essentially a universe of relationships. And we actually participate in the operation of it at our own level. And smiling is definitely contagious. And guess what? We can change the world with a smile. I think there's a song like that. Sorry, I'm not quoting it. But we really can change the world with a smile. A study published in the Journal of Neuropsychology reported that seeing an attractive, smiling face activates your orbital frontal cortex, the region in the brain that processes sensory awards. That suggests that when you or I view a person smiling, we actually feel rewarded. Or if somebody sees us smiling at them, they feel rewarded. So we are creating a symbiotic relationship that allows both of us to have feel-good chemicals in our brain, activates our reward centers, makes us both more attractive, and who doesn't want that? And increases our chance, get this, of living longer and having healthier lives. So smiling is a form of kindness, and we know that kindness is a balm for the soul, and it costs nothing. So I have had an experience last week. Some of you know that I help Reverend Kathy at Unity of Beaverton. And I'm over there once a week, and they have a food pantry, and I'm usually there working the day of the food pantry. And as usual, I leave the house forgetting to make lunch. And then by 1 o'clock, I'm starving. So I go down to the food pantry and I beg some food from them. And I went down last Tuesday and I said, oh God, could I have an apple? I am absolutely starving. And they were so adorable. The lady that was working there just lit up with this big smile for me. It wasn't like, oh my God, can you just remember to bring your lunch? It was like, oh, wow. Yeah, help yourself. And then she went over and got this whole bag of apples for me. And then she went and got all this other stuff for me. They must really take pity on me, and gave it to me. And it was just like this experience I had with her kindness, and the joy and the smiling and the care that she showered on me. And I have to tell you, there was a lady there who helped out often, and she lived in her car. She's a pretty smart lady, but for some circumstances, she was living in her car, and she would help out at the food pantry. And a number of times, well, they get not only food, but sometimes florist shops send flowers too. So she would make a bouquet and bring it up to my office. And just with this lovely, lovely smile, give me these flowers. And I have to tell you, all of that may seem like no big deal to you, some people, but these experiences had an effect on me, and they still have an effect on me. In fact, I think about them. I think about them so much, I decided to talk about them today in this message, that there was something that not only was very sweet and lovely and I enjoyed, but something that had an effect of cracking open something in me. And I don't know about you guys, but I can get really busy and I neglect that feeling sensory part of me. And there was really something about this experience that cracked open something in me, so that when I was driving around, I began to look at people with a different view, a more open-hearted view. And also, this food pantry is helping people, but there was like a connection between me and all of them. I don't know how to explain it, but it had a profound effect on me. And I was thinking of this quantum field where we all are a part of, as the scientists tell us. Quantum is from a Latin word, packet. I went to Catholic school. I had to take Latin many, many years, but they're little packets of energy. And all of these experiences within this field move these packets of energy, and they have an effect of creating a higher energy vibration. I guess that's what I want to say. A higher energy vibration begins to happen through this. And as we know in our metaphysical teaching, this higher energy feeling overcomes these lower vibrations. So I just wanted to talk about these simple little things that we can do, not grandiose. These are simple things that you and I can do. We talk about this being a world healing center. But I think we need to remember our own power to be agents for change. It's not being someone who has billions of dollars and can feed the world, perhaps, or all those other things that make the news. This power within you and I can change the world. It changes the world one person at a time. It changes us so that our energy field goes out. And as more people have a higher energy field, an energy field in connection with these qualities that are attributed to a divine field, a divine creative force, these qualities of peace and joy and love and wholeness and beauty and all harmony and all of that can be raised and experienced. And we have the power in a collective consciousness to affect things. Don't think for a minute that you don't, that I don't, that what we do in every moment isn't important. So here's something each one of us can do very simply, and that is just smile at somebody, change their serotonin level, change our serotonin level. But more than that, it affects these little packets of quanta, these energy packets that are part of this whole field of human existence. So let us go forth this week, continuing to smile, continuing to experience kindness, those little things that are actually the big things. So namaste, blessed ones. And I would like us just to take a moment perhaps here to breathe into this to breathe into ourselves and to feel that energy in our own bodies, that life force. And as we do that, realize that we are on some level light beings. I use the term light. It's a kind of light, I guess, we cannot define, but it is an energy and light that courses through us, that is our life force. And I would like now for us just to see that life force expand out beyond us, because we are interconnected in this web of energy and life and quantum fields. So begin to see that light move out from you into this beautiful planet. Surround this beautiful planet with the field of your light. See, our thoughts have power to move this intention, to move our words into form. And just take a moment now and feel this and see this and know this. And also in your own individual life, get a sense of this energy field powerfully expressing as who you are, healing anything that needs healing in our mind, our souls, our experiences, and in our bodies. It is powerful. We are powerful. So let us, in deep gratitude, let that go. And blessings to each one of us, blessings to everyone. Amen.
Thank you so much, Julie. This second piece of music that we have today is so appropriate and fun, and it's by a well-known New Thought singer and composer who is a special friend of Unity across the country and also Centers for Spiritual Living. She lives in Nashville, and she's been here in Oregon and is a good friend. And actually, I know her, and she's Jana Stanfield. The thing that's so interesting is that Jana is the head of a foundation, or works on a foundation, that travels to Bali every year and multiple times, working with an orphanage and teaching girls and giving them lives forward and raising money on behalf of these girls. And the name of their foundation is Together We Can Heal the World. So here's the song.
Would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed, would the wind always fill up my sail? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do to do what we secretly dream. What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refused to listen to the voice of fear, with the voice of courage whisper in my ear. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave?
Isn't that a song to remember? So, this is our part of the service, our celebration, where we act on the faith that we have, our commitment to the center, but also to ourselves in the world, and the change and the power that we have to continue to influence the world. So, this is a time for our offerings, and to know that our intention and vision of the Unity Center in our 30th year is spirit-led. We're co-creating a vibrant, inclusive ministry, welcoming and supporting everyone on his and her spiritual journey. And as you are, excuse me, making your offering now, in the future, when we write our checks monthly, go on the website and remember that this offering is more than just a gift of money. It's a gift of consciousness. And so together we bless those gifts and our offerings, and we say, God's love in me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. We have one announcement that is kind of exciting, because our licensed Unity teacher, Sandra Combs, is going to be offering a 5-week book study on Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters. It's a wonderful book. It's the original letters, And for those of you who may not know, Myrtle Fillmore's original healing is really the foundation of the Unity movement, because she did not believe as a child of God that she inherited illness. So that book study will be scheduled as soon as possible, but we would like to know who and how many of us are going to be interested in participating. So what we would ask you to do is either email Sharon at wesleyanunitycenter@gmail.com or Marilee Payne at Marilee, Marilee consult at AOL.com. Or if you know them, call up and leave a message. But we'd like to get that information in the next week or two so that we can get that scheduled. Remember, the book is Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters, and Sandra Combs is passionate about this book. It's a wonderful way, wonderful opportunity to take us to Unity's deepest metaphysical, prayerful foundations. So, the other announcement is to remind you that Reverend Julie offers spiritual support by phone. You can check the website for that information and our weekly e-news every week. Sign up if you're not getting that. Again, the website, www.worldhealing.org. And so at this point, I'd like to thank Reverend Julie again for your inspiring message. Encourage all of us to go out there and change our own serotonin and our quantum fields by smiling and intending a miracle. And let's think about what we would do if we were brave, because the truth is we are brave. So as you get in your mind a picture of the Unity candle that's always burning in our services, it's always burning in our hearts, and we complete this formal time together, we blow out the candle metaphorically rather. We blow out that candle. But we know that the light never goes out. Why? Because we are the light and we know the truth. So please join me at this point to say our prayer of transformation. The light of God is in us. The love of God moves through us. The power of God transforms us. The presence of God is who we are. Wherever we go, God is, and all is well. I invite you to stay after we have a special treat afterwards. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourselves. Be well. You are so dear and important to the Unity Center and to life. Thank you.